Not something you typically expect. But again, like the guys are saying on the desk, I mean, Buradam as well as Influence Kemin, 170 points. I mean, Influence Kemin have been sitting around this points gap for quite a while now. So teams are starting to catch up a little bit, which is making things a little bit more volatile towards that front page. I mean, all the way down to 7th place with Aegon XIA, 123 to 138. It's not the biggest jump in the world to hit towards that 3rd place. As we all know, that is the very, very important position to be hitting at this point in time to get direct invite towards that grand finals, not having to worry about the survival stage. Especially with us having 8 teams fielded from every single group, it's going to be more difficult when you come to the survival stage, of it being a very short format as well, John. You're going to be playing against several different teams, and it's never going to be the same one lobby, in which case you're always worried about new rotations. And I think that does have a little bit more randomness involved when you get to that survival stage. It's great to have a second chance. However, it's one of those things where you'd rather not be stuck in that scenario.
No, I mean, it's always good to have that buffer, that confidence as well, that you can frag out against multiple regions, and that you've kind of downloaded a little bit of their meta. And you can sit and you can really just pay attention to the top teams and who you think is going to be going through. It's also going to afford you a lot of time to go over those VODs and to watch the survival stage as well, to see your competitors in action. S2G, R8, once again clashing on the south side of Paradise Resort. Everyone seems to be armed and certainly fairly dangerous. Silas, low, Vector in hand. SK10, if he'd have peeked out just a moment either side of that, might have had a tough time of it. Very, very low as well. A nade in through the window, catches prestigious heals, but only clips them. It's the final shots, the spray from Ray Z that connects in the end, and SK10 last standing for R8. S2G, a punchy early game. Can they finish this one out? Can they close it down?
I mean,
ID7, no, you can't get res. That's an enemy. Oh, he figured it out. I think he knows.
It's good damage that comes through, but it's not quite enough. And with S2G with an outpost on this top side, I don't think it's likely that SK Ton's getting away with this one, especially with the Infinity and MTech Storm also waiting in the wings. No matter what happens here, you're always going to be leaving this into the hands of another team. And for SK Ton, I think leaving like this with just a level 1 helmet, no HP on board, even if the team just tickles you, it's over. We are going to get a remake here, which I imagine that S2G is going to be massively frustrated with after what was an incredible start to their match there. You see teams are pretty upset about this as well. But again, Sandhog is one of those games, one of those maps where, these remakes, probably the worst thing to happen for them. But, you go again. At least S2G know that our rate is going to continue to drop on them. It's not changing. It's never changed from scrims. It's never changed from day to day either. But yeah, we'll be getting back into the game very, very shortly, or at least as soon as we can. Figure this one out as we go.
Just getting everyone loaded up properly. Seems like everyone is just rejoining the lobbies at the moment. But again, off the back of the back-to-back chicken dinner, LGD careening up the tables. I'm looking at teams, as you were saying, S2G needed this boost of confidence, and maybe that will give it to them. Maybe they'll be able to carry that flare over into their next drop in Sandhawk, which is likely also going to be a hot drop against R8. They know they can win the fight. They've done it literally just now, so hopefully they can carry that momentum forwards. Enigma Galaxy, who have still continued on their downward trend, kind of dropping out of that group to vie for a 3rd place finish, kind of is only the front page from here on out, unless something brilliant happens from a little bit lower down the tables to come through and change the tune. But Bigatron 122 can launch up as LGD in 3rd, only on 138. That is a 16-point difference between those teams, so really minimal. I think we're loading on into the lobby. You see, very, very chill. Just resetting. They're ready to go again. But the Mad Bulls have had a pretty tough time of it, despite having a chicken dinner, 16th place.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those days or one of those weeks, let's say, for the guys from Mad Bulls, not able to get anything on board. And again, like you're saying, this is the team that like embodies consistency, and the fact they were not able to get this thing running, get the plane off the ground. It's a real struggle bus, and it is a massive shame considering how good of a team that we know they can be. Again, 16th place, that's not a fluke. Something is drastically going wrong here for the team, and they're unable to find their way in towards the survival stage or even the grand final ticket, which is very much out of the question at this point in time. Enigma Galaxy, honestly, this is one thing I did want to talk about because it's a little bit surprising, right? Is that first day finishing with 86 points, John. And now we're in day 3, halfway through, 103 points. So really hardly anything found for this team in terms of points over the last couple of days. It's very disappointing if you are Enigma Galaxy. The Infinity, on the other hand, all the way down towards the bottom of the lobby, they're catching up, 86 points. And again, this could be a case where we start to see the leaderboard even out a little bit because Influence came in not rocketing out of their mind the moment, with Buradam being that new big contender to the lobby. Happy days.
For some of the teams, anyway. That's been pretty good news for those launch ups to the tables. I think we're getting on board with Sandhawk now, mounting up once again. Let's take a look at what the jungle has in store for us today.
We already found out, but we'll find out again as the plane path heads in from the north side all the way down towards the south, and Bantai, RA, S2G both dropping in nice and early. MTech Storm, the Infinity on the outer edges, the Infinity off towards that northern side, and MTech Storm down towards the south. Both teams getting in as fast as possible, identifying that there are RA players alongside with Hamzy G at the moment. You know, if this goes topsy-turvy and it goes R8's way, I mean, S2G are going to be a couple of mad players, I'll tell you that way. Mad Bulls down towards that south side, looking to hit up towards Painan as per usual. But already, that's a double for S2G, and this was easy pickings.
Oh, is traded off. Prestige as well. Has a micro Uzi against Silas with nothing, but there is a challenge. Okay, 3 players from R8 down, and Bandar last to fall. This time around, it's actually a better result, Blank. They get the fight done early. They take all 4 eliminations as well.
It actually is a better result. Never mind, that remake was specifically made for S2G to dominate even harder versus R8 there.
Oh, goodness me. Hamzy already on 200 damage on the game. The Infinity, I mean, this is now their full strategy. Just try and guard out the fight. But because it's finished so fast, it's just a full-on, I guess, invade into the Paradise Resort territory. Circle pops out northwest and keeps a lot of that northwest island in it. It'd be good to see a finish out that way, Blank. We haven't seen it so far.
We've not, no, and I think this could be very much over towards that northwest side if the circle shifts correctly on the next couple of zones. I don't think it's out of the question that we see a northwest finish on the circle. LGD down towards Bantai, obviously our front runners from today, doing absolutely marvelous work so far. Got a bit of a way to go. Enigma Galaxy also towards Sami. They will have to move for the first time in a while, John, actually. They went out at 11th place yesterday on Sandhawk, which was a bit of a better result for them, but it was down towards Sami, which was slightly questionable as to how quickly they did exit the game. And you really do hope that Enigma Galaxy can pull their socks up, really, because they're a good team. They are a good team, and if there's any fans of them, you know they're a good team. You've watched them throughout the year, and you know that Ralph, Freak, Hamodi, Lord, all together for a long time. This team has a huge amount of synergy, and I think that when you have so many 16 places in a row, it can hurt the mentality, John. It absolutely can. I know that I've had bad days that have turned into more bad days, and that is just how it works sometimes. But you've got to get back on the grind, get back on the treadmill, and start running. It's the only way to do it. You've got to get yourself out that slump. And in a tournament like PMGC, really is not the time to be getting down bad almost. You've got to get back up on your feet and get running.
I mean, that is what it takes to be a pro player, right? It's... As the great Rocky Balboa once said, ow. Yeah, and you've got to try and live with that.
Sorry. What was that?
That's right.
I don't think that's what I don't think that's what he said at all.
He said that, definitely. I checked.
Okay. Right, fair play. I think it was something to do getting hit hard. You hit back harder or something along those lines.
No, I'm pretty sure it's what I said.
Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, he did say ow, and then he got right back on the horse and got galloping away. So that is technically true from you. Looking at our total limbs, though, across the board, MyNameP leading the pack with 30 eliminations so far. This guy has been an absolute monster within Group Red at the moment. Teak also with 23. Really do like this player from Titans. Does pull his team out of a lot of bad spots. And I mean, he kind of is like the animal that if you corner too much, will just start fragging out of his mind. Specifically in that moment on Miramar, you saw where LGD was pressuring him a little bit too much, in which case, Teak went full Hulk mode and just started blasting.
Federal for Influence Kemen, close by to Titan. We're looking for their performances today. Currently still in first place, sure, but it's not as comfy as it once was. 6 points between them and Buradam, who've been fairly consistent. Buradam currently dropping over, split around. One player towards Docks, one player over towards Cave, 3 players over towards Docks. And they are on the hunt. They are catching up. I mean, you can see how close that is. LGD, if they're able to keep this performance up, of course they will jet up and join them in that front pack, but still quite the gap to breach.
Still possible, though. I think with a whole half a day and a whole day ahead of you as well, there's a chance here. There's a chance here for some of these teams to break in towards it. A lot of players and a lot of these teams moving up towards that northwest side at the moment. Bootcamp has a loot crate in it. See if anyone wants to pick that one up. MTech Storm heading down that way. Anyway, S2G, after their dominant performance over in Paradise Resort, have remained there. We'll loot this up as much as possible. With the Infinity spotting no stragglers, as well as MTech Storm, they've both left those positions outside of Paradise Resort, realizing that there is quite the terrifying beast within the resort itself, and not willing to go try and get a spa day for their own. Oh my goodness me! Okay,
it's fine. It didn't even take any damage. It was totally on purpose.
I mean, YZZ does all his own stunts out here, which is fair.
That is true. When in doubt, stunt it. Federal still hiding behind the same rock and getting a lot of info on the Titan players, but I feel like there's only so much info you can get other than they're all there.
Yeah. I mean, that is fair enough. I mean, that is where you want to generally be at this point in time. BTR up towards the mountainside at the moment, holding as a 2-1-1. Respectable, making sure there's no one pushing through from Camp Alpha. Most teams, surprisingly, pushing in from that eastern side. No one's headed towards Ruins, as Titans have already left that position. Mad Bulls, on the other hand, take up a position that is widely known as HVP's spot over in PMGC and in the championships of Western Europe. They'll hold here for the time being and then maybe think about moving across the other side. They've been harried by Titans a fair few times, and Skills's is going to go for a little bit of a wrap in the vehicle, see if he can spot any players on that side and return back to the fold here with the information that he gathered.
See if they can use that effectively, use that information, that scouting, which is what we said we wanted to see more from quite a few teams, Blank.
I think with the way the circles are going at the moment, the teams are having to adjust the pace at which they play the game a lot at the moment, from a lot of their respective regions to now. Circle heading up towards that northern side. Now, this could be quite comfortably up towards that northwest mountain, with the circle centering up a lot more often. It's unlikely to center up on the bridge, but I have seen weirder things here in PUBG Mobile, so that could be a case, in which case the bank sides become very important to control. And with the Infinity already being there, this is going to have to be something that they'll be hugely aware of. Influence Kemen, one from Titans. That's a good pick-off.
I mean, finally, Federal's able to do something from this spot. He's been waiting for long enough, and Titan give that move, and as soon as Influence Kemen are in position to go for these team shots, he steps up and he operates to perfection. 2 players from Titans will be going down here. Puncher hiding behind the tree, sure, but you're not going to be get up from there. Mad Bulls taking this opportunity to get across as well, as Influence Kemen's attention is turned over towards Titan. They will move in towards the duo's position in the compound underneath the cliff, in the shadow of it. Six taking a 1v2. So is Isa as well. But Monkey will be able to deal with that. Now they can turn their attention just to Six. Is dethroned from the top. Federal, though, has a little bit of something to say about that. Will fall back to the compound, however, and allow the rest of Influence Kemen to come in for the regroup.
Yeah, it's a decent side swipe from Federal, but not quite quick enough on the trigger. The rest of the team, they're not alongside with him. Mad Bulls, though, take a very good rotate. It's a heads-up rotate as well. They spot the fight, and they see that Titans are under pressure. They zoom over the top side with information that was dropped back by from Skillsers, and that is more or less what we'd like to see from the guys from Mad Bulls. They are underneath the cliff at the moment, which provides them pretty decent safety from BTI, and it's a rotation you have to make early for this exact reasoning, is that if you're going to be rotating over towards this building, you're more than likely going to get shot at by BTR or anyone that's on top of the mountain itself.
Ooh, a nice nade on the roller. Tizzy actually finds both of them. We've seen Tizzy be fairly effective at handling swift rock-ups and get overwhelmed a couple of times for being a little bit out of position. But this time around, it seems to have worked out for MTech Storm. Nigma Galaxy, in the meantime, losing 3. All down there. Lord on the other side of the bridge. Unlikely to be able to get anyone back up here. YZ for LGD wants to stick the res. We're in zone 2. As long as he has a bandage and a first aid, should just fine to move north afterwards.
Yeah, and I mean, these circles are hitting rather hard. Looks like Suki's going to go and try and confirm some of these knocks, some of these eliminations, pick up any kind of medical supplies he can, especially knowing that this is a team coming through from Sami. There's a lot of medical loot down on that side, first aid kits, stims, whatever you might need in that situation. In the meantime, it will be MTech Storm taking out the remaining players in this area.
They do have Box pretty close by on the southwest side, though. So if they can get themselves back up to fighting form, then maybe they'll be able to hold that one out as well. But you don't want to stick around too long. It's likely that this position will be moved away from anyway. So you don't want to try and hold on to it too firmly.
Budoram rocking up behind LGD on that southern coast towards Tambang, and now LGD find themselves in a tricky spot with MVM already going down here, and the circle closing quite rapidly. Both these teams have to make a decision, and quickly. DRS also, you can see them flying through on that side. Like I said, this is the circle we expected to see, heads towards that northwest island. I think LGD might just be done for here. It's too many teams taking engagements with them. Chunxi over towards on that side from LGD, looking to send a grenade across. Will find some damage over towards Kengzo, and the knock is there.
Looks like Budoram are being drawn a little bit. LGD, they lose 2 players, but those trades are fairly solid with the blue zone already starting to tick fairly hard. There's not a lot of time left on this engagement blank, and both of these teams are really going to suffer for it. Bigatron, in the meantime, on their mountaintop split, they have a really strong spot. We talked about it a little bit earlier on. Now they can start to just keep that pressure going and exert so much control.
MVM down, Budoram have vehicles to play around with as well, so should be able to get out of this area. Mad Bulls made a pretty heavy rotate up towards that northern side. It's one I respect as well on the outer edges of Hatin. Puri looking to take down the final player of the Infinity, and will find it, but look at these players. They are extremely distraught and in a bad spot, but with no players really around them other than S2G, they should be able to get all players back on the feet. Back to Mad Bulls, though, on the outer skirts of Hatin. Really good play, honestly, but losing 2 players on the approach, not sure what happened on that side, and I'd love to find out if some of the analysts actually know what occurred over there. The only thing I can think of is Lord taking 2 players on the rotate, which would be super unfortunate. But Mad Bulls might still be able to get a decent game from this position. They're out of reach of a lot of other teams that have to pass through one another first.
Okay. Players alive on the swivel, looking out for 4 rivals. They try and control that northern bridge. We'll pick up that 5th elimination to up their count, bolster their points. Can they keep it going?
Yeah, this is certainly a case of S2G's go big or go home strategy. And this looks like one of those games they're going for the full home run here with 4 players alive, crossing this bridge into pretty open zone as well. Box might be the only other team that will be able to challenge them. They still have a far way to go. They're coming out from the circle. Chunxi, though, waits for that final player from Budoram, will pick up that knock as well. has to make his way onto the circle itself, but it's a long journey ahead of him.
Quite a way to go, and without the opportunity to go for that heal strat with the circle changes, it's going to curtail it a little bit, will be difficult. Influence Kemen moving into the south side, losing 1 or 2 players there, down to 2 underneath Bigatron. 4 players on just 3 teams actually now, Blank. It's Bigatron, I think it was, oh goodness me, I've just lost the list. But yeah, Bigatron certainly, absolutely, completely lost the plot. The circle shifts out to the northeast side. And S2G will be just holding a sliver of it. There it is. S2G were one of the teams with 4 players alive, and Box, I mean, they started with 4, but they're getting absolutely torn apart now as they try and move to the coast side.
Yeah, again, a really nice play from S2G. Waiting in these compounds for any teams that might be stragglers coming through from that eastern side. Not a lot of teams would expect this either, honestly. With how quick the circle's coming in, they wouldn't expect teams to be still coming out from the blue, but S2G, they play their cards right. They decide to wait this one out, make sure there's absolutely no one that can backstab them and clear out the entirety of this eastern side of the circle. It's a smart move, and one I really do respect, because I think far too many times teams get a little bit too overconfident, which is one of S2G's biggest problems, by the way. And instead, they wait around and make sure there's no players over here in the first place.
Still 7 eliminations already on the game. It's nice to get a confirmed consistent result here. Even if you go down now, it's still going to be enough to sort of keep up with the general pack that they're playing around, unless LGD can blast out their mind or DRS can really put it down. The big team here is Bigatron, who are going to have to leave that top of the mountain. Can they stay up as 4, and can they keep that power?
Honestly, I think for Bigatron, there's actually a pretty simple rotational path for them ahead of them, heading over towards where Team Queso are currently playing on the eastern side. They've only got Papi Potro there at the moment. Federal has been spotted by Misery. It's just a little bit more damage that they need to take inwards. Luxy will have to head on back and pop one of his first aid kits. It would be a disaster if he goes down now. He's one of the more important players for BTR at the moment. Misery finds Law, and now Federal should go down to the play zone.
Certainly spotted completely. Yeah, Luxy not managed to land any of the shots there. That is disastrous from Luxy, actually. Needs to be hitting those shots. Goes down to Federal. This is another game where we've seen Luxy just make a little bit of a misstep here. I mean, we saw it earlier. You've got to wonder what's going on from this player.
Yeah, certainly dropped the ball on that one. It is unfortunate. I think that's just a case of getting caught in a position where you're like, I can't find the shoot button. I know that sounds ridiculous, but again, everyone makes mistakes, even at the highest level. And when you're trying to shuffle along and you can't quite get a position where, you know, the barrel is straight so you can take shots of it, these things happen. Again, these are the type of things that happen, though, that can lose you the chicken dinner, John. You're 100% right. Gem Foster goes down to the blue zone itself, and so does Zuxi. 2 Mad Balls currently on the side of Hatin, and this is where this position becomes very, very strong. Now, only a few teams remaining with many players alive. I think Team Queso has probably got the most at the moment with 3 players. S2G more than likely going to lose a lot on their approach as Box are holding the bridge down unless they can make one hell of a battering ram maneuver. Lord also in a tricky position, all in his lonesome. You know, this could be a case of Mad Balls or Butteram taking position in there. Though 1v2, definitely possible for him. And this is the first time we've seen Enigma Galaxy get this far, kind of on an unexpected push as well.
CC playing up top, managed to get up there on the vehicle. Mad Balls potentially looking to take it away. There's an MG3 in that box. Could be very useful for a solo player. I mean, you need that larger magazine and that power to instantly just blast people away if you want to stay up, because you need those 1v1 trades to go your way every time.
Monkey making sure there's no one coming out through the blue on that side. They don't know it's safe, but it's good to clear that angle out, especially when they're right on the edge of the circle down towards that southwest side. This gives them a lot of safety, right, and a lot of peace of mind. Chunksy, definitely one of the biggest problems for them at the moment. We'll certainly know there's players down here will have heard the footsteps. S2G able to make their way across with Box, unfortunately, swimming in the water. They were sent down there earlier. Now S2G coming in with 4 players. Great news for them. But Team Queso should have a side swipe onto this, and it's fairly open ground out from the bridge. So teams should be able to take shots towards them. Mad Bulls right now, though, this is full survival mode. This is a case of trying to get as many points as possible from every single game to jump up, because their position right now, 52 to 81. It's a 30-point barrier, and with 4 rivals still in the game as well, they're going to be getting points this game. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough for Mad Bulls to make it happen, but this may be the start here.
With only their 2 players, I mean, Monkey's in that trench in the middle of the mountain, in the valley, and they'll have to move. 4 rivals, Lone Ranger, Voki, in the roadside compound as well. Can they control Team Queso from the side? I mean, from the south, it's potentially a strong position here. They can move and try and work these cliff tops and get a lot of sight lines over towards the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, I think Team Queso currently has the best position within the game at the moment, up on that high ground, a great spot to play. Chunksy might be one of the disaster causes for that team, though, if he gets a backstab onto them.
Monkey cooking the nade over towards CC. Won't be able to find it. Reposition is there. Molotov to slow things down, but the second one's on the money. Mad Bulls open with 2. 5 eliminations found now. 6th place guaranteed. LGD will be denied now for fully the triple. Only 2 chicken dinners in the first 3 games. Thank you very much. Buraram, though, still going on the north side. S2G as well. 8 eliminations, playing with 4 from the northeast edge. Can they move in here against Team Queso's Overlook?
I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for Mad Bulls at the moment, because this is a 2v2 with Screams on the underside as well. This makes it a case where a 3v2 not possible for them. S2G take a massive hammering, and this is what I assumed would happen for S2G. It's very hard to make your way through this position. Now, Mad Bulls are trying to dismount a couple of these players. Scream's still going strong on the underside with that DMR.
Zerich, nade, takes a little bit of damage off Ayala. About half the HP bar. Monkey trying to gather some information about that western flank. But the circle will move them away. Team Queso looking to hold onto the cliff top. Away from Mad Bulls. Can S2G move any further with just Kelsey going? Lord falls for Enigma Galaxy. Which leaves them out in 5th. Team Queso still 3 players alive and top spot.
It might even be a smart maneuver for Mad Bulls. They've very limited time to do it now. I don't think they can anymore. Would be to just actually move down the cliff face, because I don't know how likely it is to end on top of this cliff face in the first place. Monkey, though, spotted by My Name P out in the blue. Zerich will have to find these shots over towards him.
Mad Bulls desperately need this game, and it is going to come down to Zerich. Team Queso close enough to throw some nades in. Can they do the final bits of damage? My Name P will go down. Get felled there. Potro Ayala want to mount up and go for the run. Zerich close range, looks for one, will find it. Tries to hot swap out, but will not be able to get the second. Papi Potro handles business. Ayala Rezable up the top, but they might just turn their attention to Tiger instead. Scream is alive on the downturn, and Papi Potro up top. But Buraram, they're not a team you can count out. Neither is Tiger a player you can do to either.
I mean, it's going to be impossible to bring that player on top side. They have to move down, so Ayala goes out, and Tiger actually has a huge opportunity in this game to finish it out. Looks for one more of these knocks.
And he's going to the blue zone. Scream has to break out. Tiger has got plenty of HP to play with, but he wants more. Scream posted up, waiting for the peek, pre-firing in as well, waiting for the shots to come in, but Tiger's cooking the nade. He wants to pop it over towards the tree as soon as Scream makes it there. Excellent timing on that nade, and it's perfectly placed. Buraram snatch it away from Team Queso top the mountain.